So has anybody, I don't know if Tiffany posted anything or whatnot, but has anybody heard about a retreat that we're thinking about possibly doing?
Yeah, we saw something about it.
Yeah, so what we were thinking about is, so a few weeks ago, Summer Tucker had a ton of people from her team come out here to Utah. And they rented this huge house and just had a weekend where they got together. They did some training and some different things, but it was super awesome to just get everybody together and just build relationships, and get to actually be together. At some of these big events that we go to, like Summit, there's not really a chance where we can all just kind of hang out together and get to know each other. And so Tiffany and I, Summer asked us to go down and talk to her team. So Tiffany and I went down and they just kind of had like some group training, different people on the team, presented on different topics and just had kind of some question and answer and just good discussion. And so we kind of wanted to piggyback off of that and do something like that for us. And what we were thinking about is probably in October, because right now we've got, coming up, there's the cruise coming up. And then, summertime hits, people got vacations, family vacations, there's Summit. And so we were thinking maybe October after kids are all back in school and, life's kind of calmed down a little bit more. But, and then having everybody come out to Utah. So there's a city, you guys may or may not know what Park City is, but, Park City, it's like a big ski town in Utah. When the Winter Olympics were here, a lot of the events and stuff were there. And so it's a really cool city. It's up in the mountains, but I was looking up houses and found some really, really sweet looking houses that really cool looking. They fit, some of them were in the, 20, 30 range. Some were 40, some were 50 that they would fit. So we'll just kind of have to see how many people come. But what we would do is just have everybody come out, spend probably 3 nights. The Beachbody has a corporate office about probably 30 minutes away from where we're looking, from where the houses we're looking at. And so, we could go down, take a tour of the corporate office down there, have Jeff Hill hang out with us and, ask questions and, maybe speak to us as well. And then also in Park City, there's some cool, what do you call them, like resorts and activities, different things that we can do, team building. There's, this really cool ropes course that I've done before that's a lot of fun. So what do you guys think about getting some of your own coaches to come with us and do something like that?
I think it sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome. I think it'd be better to get some of my coaches to that versus trying to get them all excited about Summit right off the bat, because it's just more intimate and it's just like a little bit more motivating. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tyler, is this something to like qualify for, or just like anybody that can come can come?
Yeah. So we wanted to make it where most people can come if they want to come, that they can come. And so we wanted to be very inclusive and get as many people there as possible, just because I feel like just building those relationships is going to be key to retaining coaches and motivating and stuff like that. So we want to make it so as many people can come as possible. What Summit did is just have it so that everybody that came paid $100. So basically that's just a way for them to put some skin into it so they don't have, 60 people commit and we rent this huge house and then only 10 show up, and so just, everybody pays $100 to get in. And then she had different qualifications. So if you were diamond, you were invited. If you could hit Success Club, 3 months in a row or something like that, then you're invited. And then if you rank advance during the, this period, then you get to come. And then she also she called it like her wild card people where, maybe they didn't rank advance. Maybe they struggle with some things, but they were active in, these groups that they had put together, and they were participating every day and they were working towards it. And so she would just, send them like a personal invite too. So that's kind of along the lines that we were thinking about.
Cool. Is there going to be like a success starters? Like if we signed somebody up in August or something, and then we just, as their coach, we would just say, hey, I'm going to bring you, like, as do we as coaches, if we're invited, have that option of like inviting our brand new coaches to maybe come out with us?
Yeah, I think so. We'll have to just look at the numbers and just make sure, if there's room and we can make it work, then I think so. I think with these type of events, it's a lot more personal. And so I think it's more motivating for people to be surrounded by like-minded people and just kind of feel a part of something, a part of an organization. And so that would be very motivating for them. So, as long as we can make it work, I think we should do it. So anyways, that's kind of what we were thinking about, but I think it would be a lot of fun. So as you're talking to your team about this, we'll kind of be putting this together. We talked with Kobe and Ashlyn Mitchell, Mama Bear Fitness. So they're going to be doing this along with us. So he's an awesome trainer. He worked for corporate. He's helped like 30 different coaches reach elite. So he really understands the business. He knows how to work with people. He knows how to train. And so I think he would be good to have, somebody like him speak to us and help. So they're going to be doing it along with us. And so I think it'll be a really, really cool trip. So if you can talk to your team about it, we're going to try to make it happen. And, so talk to your coaches, really build it up, make it, seem like an awesome event that it's going to be. And then as we go forward, we'll look into numbers and see what we need to reserve. So, yeah. All right. So let's go ahead.
We're allowed to like bring it up with him, saying, hey,
say that again. You're kind of breaking.
Did you hear me?
A little bit.
So you said we're allowed to like put the bug in their ear, though, right?
Yeah.
We just don't know details yet.
Yeah, we don't know definite details, but we're thinking probably first week or two in October is going to work out best.
Okay.
Plus, we're going to be up in the mountains. It's going to be beautiful. I mean, the trees and colors and stuff will just be awesome, and it'll be fun.
Probably like over a weekend is what you're thinking, I'm assuming, or? Yeah.
So we'll do like 3 nights. So probably like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, go home Sunday. Everything. Yeah. Okay. So the topic that I wanted to talk about tonight, and which I think is something that's super critical for any type of leader, anybody that wants to either, be a coach who's recruiting coaches, be a coach who's running challenge groups and getting challengers in there. If you're part of was it PTO, right? Parent teacher organization. You're a parent, you're a spouse, you're, anything in your community. This is a topic that I think is super, super critical, and that's influence. So you're as a coach and as a spouse, as a parent, any type of title or hat that you wear, influence is going to be key to your success. So whether it's in your words, in your demeanor, your actions, anything that you do leads to the influence that you have. So developing that ability to influence other people is going to be critical in anything that you do where you want to persuade other people. And that's really what we do as coaches, is we're persuading people to make a change in their lives. Right? We're persuading people to become healthy, to make a change, to join a challenge group. We're persuading people to stick with their programs. We're persuading people to become coaches, to recruit people to join them on their own team. We're as coaches, there's so many different things that we do and it all boils down to influence. And how well can you influence other people and persuade other people to make a change and become better? Your ability to do that is going to determine how successful you're going to be as a coach. And so that's why I wanted to really talk about influence. And a lot of the things that we're going to talk about tonight is taken from some Jim Rohn material, also from a guy named Tom Hopkins, who is he's a speaker, he's an author, he was, voted the #1 sales trainer in America. And so he talks about, your ability to persuade people is, critical in any aspect of your life. So when you make connections with people and you build bridges, you have to do that on many different levels before anyone is going to want to hear what you have to say. So if you come up with a like page or a fitness page and you start posting, most likely people are not going to care what you have to say unless you've made several different connections with them, you've built some relationships and some bridges with them. So your #1 goal when you meet somebody is to get them to like you, and it's to get them to trust you, and to get them to want to listen to what you have to say. If you don't have that, you're just this figure on Facebook, they're not going to care. They're not going to want to follow you. And when people want to listen to you, they want to follow you instead of, they're stuck listening to you. If you're in a meeting or something and they're stuck there and they have to listen to you. Okay, that's one thing. That's not really influence. But when people seek you out and want to listen to you, that's where you can start to influence other people. Tom Hopkins, he says, when you can educate, motivate, and have fun, that's when you can influence. And that's when the influence is so gentle that people don't even know that they're being influenced. He's a big real estate guy, and that's what he says, after my 3rd year of doing real estate, I never had to, what was the word he used? I never had to prospect anymore, because people just came to me because they knew that I was there to serve them. They could trust me. I had built those relationships, and they just came. They were referrals to me. So he says that gentle influence that you can have over people is critical if you want a career where you can persuade other people. And that's what we do. He says your income will be in proportion to how well you can influence and serve other people. Yeah, I put that in bold in my notes, so that I have you guys remember that and write that down. Okay, your income will be in proportion to how well you can influence and serve others. Okay, so this is why this topic is so critical, is how well you can develop this skill to influence and how well you can serve other people. When you can serve and help more people get what they want, you'll have everything that you want. That's something that Jim Rohn says, right? The more you give other people what they want, the more you're going to have what you want, and that's by serving other people. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the next part is you have to have integrity. Okay, for you to be able to influence other people, you have to have integrity. You have to be real with people. And when the people you're influencing feel that you're a real person, that you're just like them, you're a consumer just like they are, then they're going to be able to relax around you. They're going to feel comfortable with you because they feel like, yeah, he or she is just like me. We can relate here. And when you share, your own life experiences, people are going to be able to relate to that. They're going to, if you create kind of this made up persona of what you feel like you should be, or you come up with this, this online kind of a persona of this, person who has this life all put together and all this awesome, amazing stuff, you're not going to relate to people as well. And if anybody catches any sort of discrepancy or feeling like you're not being truthful or not being real, that just destroys their trust. and it destroys their ability to relate to you. And it's going to take a lot of work to catch back up on that. So have integrity, be real, get people to relax and to relate to you. And the more that you can share your own life experiences and get people to relate, get people to say, oh yeah, me too. You know, I've been there before. It's going to help them more than any type of story, any type of, motivational quote, any type of, workout video, or, whatever it is that you're posting. It's going to help people to relate to you that much more. And what really holds people back from making that change and deciding to, join you as a challenger, join you as a coach, is fear. And that's the major factor that holds not only your potential challengers and coaches back, but it's something that holds you as a coach back. It holds me back as well, is fear. So as the more that you can help these people put their fears to rest, the more they're going to be able to relax. The more they're going to relax, the more they're going to trust you. But also as they see that you overcome your own fears and see you confronting hard things and seeing you changing, the more that they're going to want to follow you, because they're going to see, wow, look at that person. They have these fears just like I have. I have the same type of fears that they do. I can relate. They have these fears and they overcame them. So I want to be like them. I want to follow them. And they're going to help you they're going to want to help you to build your business. If they can see that, they can relate to you, and they want to, be just like you. Jim Rohn says that the greatest element in the art of persuasion is a passionate belief in something. Yeah. So if you're going to persuade somebody to do something, you've got to have that passionate belief in it. And so Jim Rohn, he gave these a few different points of how to influence people. And the first thing he says is identification. Okay, so if you've got a paper pencil down there, write that down. The first part of influencing is getting people to identify with you. Identification. He says you want people to say "me too" instead of "so what." When you're trying to, he says, when you're trying to impress people, you're going to get a lot of "so whats." Okay, you make up this awesome presentation, and you show it for everyone to see, and you're trying to impress people by everything that you're posting. You're going to get a lot of people saying, "So what?" Right? Like, so what? What does that mean? What does that have to do with me? But the more that you can express, okay, that's the difference between impress and express. Express, learn to express, get people to relate and identify with you, get them to say "me too." That's where you're going to relate to people and start to influence them. And then he talks about how the second part is being a gatherer of stories, being a gatherer of ideas. He says you can't withdraw from your bank until you've deposited into it. So if you want to be able to influence and to relate to people, you've got to have a stored bank of ideas, of stories, of tips, of helpful things that are gonna serve other people. So it gives when you're posting, it helps to give a good solid substance to what you're saying in conversations that you have. If you're face to face getting to know people, you have that bank of stories and things that you can use to relate to other people. So be conscious of that. Be conscious of events in your life, of things that happen, stories that happen to other people, and be aware of that so that you can share with other people. Also resources, if you've got, if you're doing personal development and you learn some cool quotes, of good books, if you can direct people towards, awesome books that are going to help them, they're going to thank you for, your ability to help them out. Let's see. Okay. So the next part of this is communication. Okay, so your ability to influence other people depends on your ability to communicate. And so there's four points on here that I want to talk about communication. And the first one is have something good to say. Okay, so I know that we talk about being real and sharing life experiences and, you know, being relatable, but also make sure that it's not just my life is so hard and this is what happened today and being a mom is like this and, you know, all that. Have something good to say. The next thing that he says is say it well. So not just saying it, but you have to say it well. So that what that means is, he says, is conscious repetition. So you present a story, you present, you know, some sort of presentation or, you know, conversation or something with somebody else. It means that you understand how you did, and you can analyze that, be conscious of it, and the next time that you have that same presentation or conversation, that you get better at it. So you study, you know, what went well, how are your posts doing, you know, and then the next time you do that, you get better at it, right? Because you're conscious of it, you're aware of how you did, and the next time you could do it better. So the next one is say it with sincerity, and people see through that, right? I mean, if you're kind of, you know, not really meaning what you're saying, people see through that and they can feel that. So say it with sincerity. And the next thing is say it accurately. So in communication, you're having, you know, any type of communication, whether on your page, personal communication, say it accurately. So when you dress things up, when you overstate them, you make things sound better than they really are, you embellish, you know, facts or, you know, whatever, people catch on to that, right? That you're not being fully honest with them. They'll unfollow you. They're not going to want to listen to that. He says the stereotypical salesman, right? The thing that you see on Facebook pages and ads and, you know, people posting as you're scrolling through, the stereotypical thing is they're just posting something because they want to sell it. Right. And if you see somebody, oh, here's my, you know, this product, you probably scroll right past it, right? Because for the most part, they're just trying to be a salesman. They're just putting something in front of you and trying to get you to buy it. And so your goal is to get past that stereotypical salesman, right? You don't want to be like that. Let's see, what did I put? Yeah. So if you want to be successful as a coach, you want to do the opposite of that. You don't want to just present your stuff for people to buy. When you're overstating things, when you're not being completely honest, and you're going to say anything and everything just to sell something, right? That's kind of the stereotype of a salesman, is they'll say anything to get you to buy their product. When you do that, it destroys your credibility. People's defenses come up, and then it's almost impossible to tear down those walls that they've built because of that. Okay, so the next point on here is don't forget to say it. Okay, so when you're having conversation, when you're posting things on your page, don't take for granted that people know what you're talking about, or don't feel like I don't need to, I already posted about that. I don't need to post it again. Don't forget to say it. Sometimes things need to be said, and don't assume your audience knows exactly what you're talking about, because there could be new people coming to your page that don't know. And so make sure that you're presenting all the information out there, not constantly, but sometimes don't forget to say it. And then the last part on there on saying it well is it takes preparation. Okay, if you have something to say to somebody, it's going to take preparation. What you say is you prepare for tomorrow's conversations today, right? By the things that you do, the things that you learn, the experiences you have is what you take into tomorrow's conversation. So take that preparation, get ready, and have something good to say. Okay, so first point on there was have something good to say. The next point was say it well. And then, so the third point on here is read the effect you're having on your audience. So study your audience and their response. Online, that means that study your posts. What type of posts do well, what type of posts don't do well, what type of conversations are created, what posts are being shared, what posts are not being shared. Study that, be conscious of it, be aware of it, what's going on my page. The fourth point on there about communication is say it with intensity or emotion. So if you have no emotion, there's no intensity there, even online, even on posts, it's not gonna come through, right? You've got to use your exclamation points, your bolded letters, all that kind of stuff, whatever. But make sure that emotion is coming through. I know people don't like to talk politics, but if you look at President Obama when he was running for office, you look now, whatever it's called, election, stuff is going on now. Look at Donald Trump. Neither of those guys really talked a whole lot of substance, right? There was no, logics and facts and, stuff like that talked about. It was all about emotion. And, Obama won 2 terms based off of emotion, and Donald Trump is killing it now based off of emotion. And that's what people make decisions off of is, most of the time just emotion is. So how well can you connect with that emotion? How well can you show that emotion yourself and elicit that same emotional response in other people? Get people to, buy products, to follow you, to, join you on your team. It's not facts and figures that sells, it's emotion. Okay. All right. So that is the last part of what I wanted to talk about. But I think, a lot of this stuff just seems pretty simple, pretty common sense, right? It seems like, well, yeah, that's kind of important to know. But I really feel like the more that you study and understand this stuff, the more you understand the power of influence and the power that you can have as a coach. Not only recruiting challengers, but coaches to your team. And when you have coaches and influencing them to build their own team and helping them, you're really going to see your business take off if you can really study this skill and develop that ability to influence and to persuade other people. Okay. So thank you everybody for joining. Does anybody have questions or comments or anything that you want to talk about?
Oh, because my kids were like screaming for the last half of that. Because I think you got some of this from the Jim Rohn, right? The Jim Rohn thing that we did.
Yeah.
Did you pull it from the communication or the influence side?
That was, well, a little bit of both, but a lot of that was from influence. Yeah.
All right. I'll just go back and listen to this call and then that again. I wanted to make sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's module 7 is influence and communication is 5 or 6, I think. Yeah. Good stuff though. Very good stuff.
So when you were talking about emotion, I kind of remember, were you kind of saying to use emotion, be emotional?
Right. Yeah. Because so many people, we were talking about how just people make decisions based off of emotion most of the time, right? The more you can connect and get people to follow that emotional response. I mean, look at all these motivational speakers and stuff. I mean, Tony Robbins, you get, on these national wake up calls, you go to Summit and basically it's, pumping people up and getting them to follow this emotion. And that's what drives people to act. Right. So that's really the key there is just being able to show your emotion, because the less emotion that you have, the less emotion that your audience is going to have. The better you are, the better your audience is going to be. The more skilled you are as a coach, the more skilled the people that you attract are going to be. That's just the nature of it. The better you are, the better people you're going to attract. Okay. All right. Anybody else have anything? Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, I think my internet sucks at this house. But I don't know if I quite understand number 2, the like gatherer of stories. Are you just talking about like thinking about all the things that have happened to you and how it relates to coaching, or can you just elaborate a little bit more for me?
Yeah. So when this is something from the Jim Rohn training, but he talks about that just being a gatherer of stories. So whether that's stories about yourself and your own life, or stories that you've heard about other people, he talks about keeping a journal. When you hear good stories, inspirational stories, anything that really piques your interest, to write it down and just keep track of those. That way, when you're having conversation, when you're talking to people, if they have something come up, whether you can relate to them based off of your own experiences or based off of somebody else's experiences, you can use those stories. So the whole key with that, it was just relating, is how well can you relate to other people? And the more you can share your own experiences, which is best, you can say, oh yeah, that's hard. I've been there myself. I remember when, this happened to me and this is how I felt. And this is why he says, keep that journal, because if you can keep track of that story and you can say, you know what, I've been there before. I can totally relate to you. I get what you're feeling. This is what I did to get past that. Right. So if you can offer a solution at the end where you're saying, I've been there, I can relate. This is what I did to fix that. Then the people are going to say, oh my gosh, thank you. You understand where I'm coming from, and, you gave me this idea of how I can get out of it. It shows that you have empathy for that person, and, that empathy really bleeds over and they can relate to you.
The thing that kind of made me think about too, I don't know if this is helpful, Christy, or if I'm even on the right track, but like when you said it the first time, it kind of just made me think of how like Danny Johnson says, like, shoot, I forget what her steps even are, but it's like, I don't know about that, but story, and you can have your money back or whatever, like that's her like little thing, but it's basically just like sharing a story, because that connects people more to what you're doing than just like saying buy this product. It's like way more relatable if you're giving some, and obviously we're talking just relationships in general here, not just like selling stuff, but that's kind of what popped into my head. Yeah, exactly. And you can talk somebody into buying something by sharing facts and figures and stuff, but you can also talk them out of buying something by sharing too much, right? So that's like what Danny talks about, is like share a minimal amount of facts, and not like you're trying to hide anything, because you're not. You're just, more you talk facts and figures, the more it's just going to go over somebody's head. But, if you can just say, yeah, I don't know, but this is a story that's happened. This is an event. Get them to relate.
I had an interesting thing that happened to me yesterday. I posted a transformation story of one of my coaches, and a girl messaged me and was like, sign me up, whatever she's doing, I need to do. So, just had some quick conversations. And within like 10 minutes, she was like, put my information in, I'm ready to order. It's like, great. So then this morning I get up and I have a message from one of my newer coaches, and she was like, a girl messaged me and you. And I was like, really? She said, yeah. She said she was having conversations with us both, but she pretty much hook, line, and sinker with you, but she wants to go through me. I thought was kind of odd. So the girl messaged me and said, oh my God, I had no idea that you both were doing the same thing. My daughter and her daughter are real good friends, and I feel bad because I asked her a lot of questions, but I had no idea. She's like, do you mind if I work with her? And I was like, no, of course not. But my coach was like, what did you do to get her? She said, I've been working with her for months trying to get her to sign up with me, and she never would. But, you know, she came to me and it was like quick. And I was like, I don't know. But it was just interesting for my coach to see how quick that I could have just short little spurts of conversations with her, and she was ready to sign up. And I said, I think you're giving her too much information. I think, so we discussed that. It was like a really big learning point for me and my coach, that maybe that was been her issue, because she's giving out too much information and they're running away. And then I was just kind of like, to the point, this is what it is. This is how you can get the results and done. But needless to say, I gave her the 2 points, you know, but it was just interesting. So like, I agree with what you just said.
Yeah, no, that's good. You're helping your coaches build their team. So even better, right? Motivating for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to share or talk about? No. Okay. All right. So we talked about, or Tiffany and I talked about doing these calls the second Wednesday of the month. So, I think we're still going to try to figure out time-wise how that's going to work with everybody to try to meet the majority's needs. You know, of course, we can't hit everybody, but, you know, we'll try to do what works for the majority of people and have kind of a leadership group here. Tara Carr, who you guys may or may not know, she's, you know, a top coach and really big higher up in the company. But so she gave this great idea on the wall of a group that she did with her team. And so I'm going to talk to Tiffany and see if I can influence her into doing the same thing, because I think it would be helpful for everybody. So we'll see what we can come up with. Okay. Susan, I just got that message. Do you want to talk?
Yeah, I just have a question about something.
Okay. Yeah. We can talk after this is all done, or we can.
We can just leave.
Okay. If you want to listen, stick around. Whatever. If not,
it's no big deal. Y'all can all listen. I'm just curious.
Yeah. Okay. I'm all done. So.
I'll see you guys later.
Okay. Okay. What's up?
So I was talking to a girl named Jennifer. She was in the Mexico group. And anyway, we're at the airport. We were just kind of chatting it up, and we were talking about different companies like selling things. And I was talking to her about how they approach me. One was the skincare, the Rodan and Fields. And, you know, we were just kind of discussing it, and I told her I wouldn't mind buying some, but I didn't like their approach. And so anyway, we were just kind of having that conversation, and she said she had kind of partnered up with the girl and basically kind of, you know, sending referrals. So it definitely kind of got my brain thinking. And this particular girl, her husband and my husband are really good friends with coaching and things. So I messaged her kind of like a spur of the moment, was like, hey, would you be interested in my February challenge, and maybe us kind of get referrals for each other? You know, like I could refer people for you and you could refer people to me. She seemed open. She messaged me and she was like, yeah, I think what you're doing is great. We're empowering women. You know, basically she's trying to be a nurse practitioner, but she's loving what she's doing, the income, etc. And she said she would love to kind of chat, just to, you know, kind of swap ideas. But I was just curious, how should I kind of jumped the gun and I wasn't sure how she would react. I think it would be a good thing. But I was telling my husband last night, I don't want to get into where I'm buying a lot of product from her and then I'm not receiving. So how would you approach that? Or is this something I should even, you know, try?
Yeah, I think it's just up to you what you feel comfortable with. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it per se. And, you know, if you can get some referrals out of it and just kind of have that relationship there, then, you know, then it could turn out to be a good thing. I would just, you know, on a personal level, just stay away from making any type of commitments where, you're, bound to anything, to buying any, certain amount of products or anything like that, but just kind of have a good standing relationship, that, shows her that you're willing to send people over to her and she's willing to send people to you.
Okay. Well, I thought it might be, I was just trying to think of ways to kind of expand me and to meet other people, like my warm market. And I thought, she's hitting the same target that I'm hitting, but she's doing skincare and women trying to change, and so I just wasn't sure. I know it could probably be a sticky situation, but at the same time, that was kind of my thing. And she was like, let's have lunch. We can sit and talk. But she was like, I'll be up front. If you were wanting me to work out, I have no time. There's no way. So, well,
none of us have time.
Yeah. So anyway, I was just curious of what you thought, if that was even something, because she was like, I'd love to partner up with you, and just kind of talk to her. And because I would love to tell her the way she approaches, I think stinks, because she just adds me to like her groups and stuff. And but I just thought it might be something good to help me kind of grow and maybe expand a little.
Yeah. I would just kind of watch out, because there, a lot of MLM companies use kind of, what's the word? Kind of weird tactics to, get people to sign up and to join them. And they're willing to use stuff like this to where they make you feel like they're just, wanting to meet up for lunch, and they're, going to try to back you into joining them or something like that. So,
okay.
I would just kind of be a little bit cautious with it. With Beachbody, they have, rules against being, coaches or reps for other companies once you hit a certain status in Beachbody's company. So,
no, I'm not trying to steal her customers, but I just thought, once these ladies are feeling better about themselves, that just might be, and I don't know her that well. Like I said, it's our husbands that are friends, but I just wasn't sure if it was something to even pursue, but I just feel like at some point I'm gonna have to expand my warm market, and she lives in a different area than I do. And I thought maybe, but I don't know how willing she is. She seemed very open to it, but I definitely am not signing up to do anything else. I don't have time.
Right. Yeah, no, relationships are always a good thing, right? The more relationships you can have, the more trust you can build with people, the better off you're going to be. So, I don't think it's a bad idea. Just, watch out for any type of commitments or anything. But other than that, developing relationships is good.
Okay, good, cool. Well, that was all I had. I was just curious. I just wasn't sure if that had been done, but I thought it couldn't hurt to maybe expand a little bit. So, cool. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks.
Okay. Yeah.